Hey, how's it going guys? TutorTom here, and today we're going to be talking about motion with constant velocity and solving some problems related to that. But before we start those problems, we need to understand the simple question, what is velocity? Well, when thinking about velocity, we usually think about something's speed, like if something's going 80 kilometers per hour. But there's a difference between velocity and speed, and we can understand that when we know what vector quantities and scalar quantities are. So what's the difference between vector and scalar quantities, and why is velocity and speed different? Well, the difference lies in what each value represents. Velocity is going to represent a magnitude and a direction. So on a graph, let's just draw a simple x and y. So this is x and this is y. So speed would just tell you something like a car is going 20 meters a second. But velocity would say that it's going 20 meters a second, but it's also going at an angle of 53 degrees. So it has a magnitude, which would be how fast it's going, and a direction, so which direction it's pointing at. It could be pointed to the left, it could be pointing downwards, it can be pointed anywhere. But the important thing you need to know is that there's a difference between vector and scalar quantities. And the same thing goes with distance and displacement. When we're talking about distance, as I showed in the other video, it's going to follow along the entirety of the path, but the displacement is going to have a certain direction that's going to go from the starting point to the end point. So that's the important thing we need to know before starting these problems. So the formula you're going to need to know for motion with constant velocity is x equals x naught, and x naught is your starting position, wherever you start, plus your velocity times your time. So let's say we have this line right here, and we're just moving in an x direction, only in one dimension. I'm going to make things really simple here. So if we start at -1 and we move to 3 in 5 seconds, then what will our velocity be? And we can use this formula to figure out the velocity. So we have x, which our final position is 3, equals -1, because that's our original position, plus v times 5. We can add 1 here, cross this out, and we have 4 equals v5. Once we divide 5, we're going to get that velocity is equal to 4/5 meters per second, or 0.8 meters per second. So the important thing to know here is that this formula is pretty easy when dealing with one dimension, but it only works when you have a constant velocity. Once you start getting into acceleration problems, you cannot use this formula. You're going to have to use some formulas that I'll be teaching in the next episode. So let's move on to our next problem really quick. This next problem, I'll show you how velocity can be negative, and kind of showing how that it has a direction to it, and how when it's negative, it's going to be moving in the negative direction towards your starting position. So say if we start at 4, start at 4 here, and we move back all the way to -2. So our final position is -2 is equal to 4 plus, we don't know velocity, and let's just say the time takes 10 seconds for this to happen. So it's 10 here, minus the 4. That's going to give us 2 on this side, and it's going to have us v times 10. Now if we divide that, what's going to happen is Whoops, I messed up. 1 second, guys. This actually right here would be 6. Shoot. Be -6 is equal to V10. So then you would divide that by both sides, and then V would come out equal to -6 over 10. Because this would be -4, and that's why this is -6. I accidentally added this to the other side and got 2. But that's how you do these type of problems. What we're going to be covering next is acceleration and motion with a constant acceleration, and going over some formulas with that, and maybe dealing with some free fall questions in the next episode. But that's all I got for today, guys. I hope y'all did enjoy. If y'all did, please leave a like and subscribe. More videos will be coming out in the future. I'm thinking about doing a biology course too, because I actually really like biology. But we'll see what happens in the future. Alrighty, peace, guys.